Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Well, a few people have asked for it, so here it is, a video going over the whole kind of plot of season 6 / not really, who killed Jenny Schechter, and also about the interrogation tapes that were released along with the second season / afterwards, and also the spin-off that never was, The Farm. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe, as we are doing a contest at the moment to win an L Word goodie bag on Christmas Day. All you have to do is be a subscriber, like the video, and comment down below. So make sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it anytime, as it really helps out the channel. So I'm basically going to talk about what happened to season 6. Because it is really, I know a lot of people really hate season 6. I actually don't mind it too much. I think like it's a combination of, it is shorter, I didn't like that, but there's a few good, like the dance episode is good, and I did like Kelly Fremont, like Bette's old college friend, coming back. I like Elizabeth Berkley, and I also like the Bette and Tina stuff in season 6. I thought the Tasha and Alice thing was interesting. I really didn't like the Max gets pregnant storyline, and I really didn't like the Shane and Jenny storyline. That was one of the worst. When season 6 was going on, I was a huge fan of the L Word. I started watching it way back after season 1 had aired, and I like caught up before season 2. But season 4, 5, and 6, when I was like going to L Word parties, I was a huge fan. Every Sunday at like all my friends, I was a senior in university when season 6 came out. So like all my friends all through college would come and watch the L Word at my house. We would watch it during the summer breaks with like all my straight friends that came back to Florida from going other places for college. And I loved it. And whenever season 6 was airing, I actually kind of liked the murder mystery plot, but I actually wanted a conclusion. So there was just, let's get into the whole thing. So I'm going to drop in the original promo from season 6, that it was one of the first ones released. It was the first kind of inkling that we had about the murder mystery.
Take her last breath, and one of her friends will take the fall. So don't miss the first 2 minutes of the staggering premiere of The L Word. The final season of The L Word premieres Sunday, January 18th, only on Showtime.
And the sound effects in this, I didn't remember this until I saw this promo again. And originally, everybody thought that someone was going to be shot. And then obviously like Jenny drowned and was in the pool, but everybody thought it was someone that was gonna get killed with a gun, and they were gonna go down that like gun violence angle. So obviously that completely disappeared whenever we opened up in season 6, like straight away. But for a long time, that was kind of like the theory on the message boards, like who's gonna get shot. And also at this stage, there was like leaked information about the spin-off The Farm, and certainly when the season was airing, everybody knew like Alice is not going to be the person who dies because she was in the spin-off. So everybody thought Alice is safe, and everybody, the way that they kind of spoke about the spin-off was Alice didn't necessarily kill Jenny, but she was convicted of it. There was a lot of guessing going on before it was revealed it was Jenny, and I remember pretty much everybody thought it was going to be Max, because everyone was saying there's no way, well, obviously Alice is safe, and there's no way they're gonna kill off Shane and Jenny, because everybody thought, oh, it's more likely that we would get guest appearances by Kate Manning and Mia Kirshner in The Farm. So that was what everybody was kind of going with. And then it was like, is it Bet or Tina? And then they thought that would be too much of a blow because they just got back together and everything. And therefore everybody thought it was Max. So when the episode started airing, every week they would release the interrogation tapes after the episode, like the next morning sometimes straight after. And it was just, this is my biggest issue with the interrogation tapes, is that, well, one, the thing about that Tina says at the end of hers, I'm just like, why would you put this in? Why would you do this to a character who Tina is arguably not even arguably, Tina is the character we know nothing about outside of, literally in season 3 she says that her mum was a Lone Star, and I remember there's one teeny reference to either something about her parents, but Tina, we know, we meet Bet's dad, Shane's dad, Alice's mom, Jenny, we know about her, we meet her mom too, we know about her parents. Everyone else, Tina is just an extension of Bet. And in a way, she did fill that very stereotypical role that a woman fills generally in television and film, where they are just the man's wife, the man's girlfriend, all those mother, sister. They're not an entirely fleshed out person. And that's why Tina's tape was just, in all of them, literally I sat down this morning and I went through every single tape again, because I don't think I've gone back and watched them since the original show, so 11 years, because they are terrible. I'll link them obviously in a playlist below so that you can check them all out. And yes, they are terrible, but I also think they're worth checking out because, one, 2 plot points are completely wrapped up that we just would have been left, with no other information. And not a lot of people know these interrogation tapes exist, because I think it's really only people who are really into the show, because they didn't fully advertise them, or there wasn't go and watch the interrogation tape afterwards. And even looking through YouTube, I realized over 11 years some videos have probably come down, but there's not, I have videos with more views. It's crazy. So we have our 7 suspects. I'm going to go through everyone's interrogation tape and just kind of say the broad points and things that were important and should have been mentioned on the show over 6 years. So Tina, we find out, her dad and her mom were lifelong Republicans. The dad was a 3-term mayor in Arizona, and he cheated on Tina's mom with a young law student, and then he also had some campaign manager that he used to share poetry with, and that's who the mom kind of had more of an issue with. And after that, the mom picked up Tina and her 2 siblings. She mentions at least one sister. She said older sister, so that makes me believe that she has a younger sister, and to make that kind of designation, that's the way, I have 2 younger sisters, and the way I say it, that it just sounds like she has 2 sisters to me. And they picked up and went to live in Atlanta, Georgia, after the dad had the affair and stuff. And then Tina also reveals that, Tina says that Bet wasn't her first, that her sister abused her, and then that's why she doesn't define Bet as her first, but that is abuse, so that's completely different. So anyone who hasn't seen those interrogation tapes, you were thinking in the beginning then, wow, we're getting some information. Why didn't we get this over 6 years? And then when I told you the end, you were like, okay, they're awful. Yes, background information. I would have gladly given up so many episodes, plot points that never went anywhere, aka the entire murder mystery, to go back and find out more about the characters. Like, how great would season 6 have been if instead of the murder mystery that was never solved, we just, well, not solved until 12 years later, that we could have gone back and seen in the beginning of each episode, you know, in season 6, it's like everybody makes their case for why they would kill Jenny. What about if we went back and saw how Alice met Bette, how Tina met Shane, how all these people became friends, or when they first moved to LA, something, like anything. So Shane's video is her confessing to burning down wax, so we finally find out it wasn't Paige, and she also tells the story about how she believes she's closest to Alice and about how she met Alice in the first place, which was a really nice thing to learn because after 6 years we never knew how these people met each other. Apart from Bette and Tina, we saw their, you know, meeting very quickly, and then also that Alice knew Bette before Bette met Tina. Helena is, well, I guess it's another plot point that's wrapped up. You know, we never find out what happened to what she did with Catherine's money, and apparently she gave it away to all these like charitable donations, anything that was not Republican George Bush, basically LGBTQ stuff and Planned Parenthood and all these things. So good on you, Helena. Nikki, yet another plot point wrapped up. We never found out who stole the Les Girls negatives. We just knew that they were in Jenny's attic, and everybody, Tina, etc., suspected that Jenny had stolen them, and it turns out, nope, it was Nikki. Max, as usual, gets the shaft. He doesn't even get like any good reveal. His story is that he used Jenny's toothbrush to scrub the bathroom floor. And once again, I will plug Disclosure on Netflix. It's amazing. Please, please, please go and watch it. And that movie, that documentary, explains far better than I could the problems with Max, how he was portrayed on the show, etc. So I agree with everything on there. So they do it much better than me. Just watch it. Alice, we get kind of the story about how she met Bette and the party where Bette met Tina. Alice arranged it, well, helped with the guest list and stuff, and Alice said she actually invited the lawyer that came to the party and brought Tina as his date, and she said he was involved in like a Harry Potter lawsuit. I thought that was like really cute and totally of the time too. I mean, over the course of the show, we've heard about Bette and Alice, and we even saw them at the opera together, but it must have been a really short window of time. I mean, I think Alice said they went on 3 dates, and then Bette said, oh, I've met a straight girl that I would fall in love with. So yeah, Bette did Alice a little bit dirty. So good for Alice for being such a good friend to her still. And finally we get to Bette, and I can't remember the exact order the interrogation tapes came in. I'm pretty sure it's this order that I've just given it to you guys in, but I do remember Alice being the second to last and Bette being the last. And yeah, just what? Like, one, it was so short and such a waste. You have Jennifer Beals and Lucy Lawless and you give us this. It was Bette basically saying she wished Tina had asked her to carry their second child, and why wouldn't you talk to her, Bette? What? Maybe she, it makes no sense. I'm still mad about it 11 years later. So the whole thought behind these interrogation tapes was that they would leave this, you know, these came out in like February, and then the pilot was filming in like April, May, and then obviously they thought Showtime was going to pick it up and play it for us probably in the L Word spot again, like January time. And the pilot was filmed. I saw it, a very, very terrible copy, and I saw it in 2009. I searched YouTube. I do not know where it is. If I keep going through my thumb drives and I find it, because let's be honest, I would have saved something like that, I will, of course, totally share it with you guys, but it may be lost to time. I can post some character descriptions. I'll post them in the link down below. There was a really good cast for the farm, actually. Obviously, Alicia Haley and Faye McJensen, from like the X-Men movies, and she played the lesbian Eve in How to Get Away with Murder. And then Laurie Metcalf, who plays Aunt Jackie and Roseanne and was in Scream 2 and tons and tons of other stuff. Alyssa Leo, like tons of people were in it. And the whole plot point of the farm was Alice has been convicted of Jenny's murder and goes to this prison that's very high offenders, and the farm is a wing of the prison, and then there's another wing that's called the jungle, and then I'm sure over time there'd be like other wings. And this, of course, was in a time before Orange is the New Black, and I don't know, sometimes I like to think obviously the Orange is the New Black is based on a book, but we ended up getting our own lesbian prison drama one way or another. So time for some final thoughts, some 11 years pondering and trying to remember what I thought 11 years ago. I mean, 11 years ago, I was annoyed. I was super annoyed. I remember watching the finale with my friends, and afterwards there was just this silence, and we all just looked at each other like, what? That can't be it. That can't be it. And I think that using the entire season to drive towards this point and then just stop before you go over the line is just, I don't know why they would do that to the audience, to themselves, because the L Word has been tainted by that. Oh, well, they have this weird murder mystery in the end and nobody knows what happened. And I am really glad they at least said that one throwaway line in Generation Q. I think they definitely could have done more, explained more, talked about it more, but I also understand them not wanting to bring back the whole re-examination of the 6th season. I mean, personally, if I had anything to do with the show, well, one, I wouldn't tell my writers to go into a show writing a murder mystery with no murderer revealed. And I think that with only 8 episodes and knowing it was their final season too, they could have done so much better. Like I said at the beginning, I really would have enjoyed more character development, because that's something that's lacked over the entire show. I mean, we really don't know much about the people that we had, on our screens all these years, bar from the pilot onwards. We really don't know much about before. So I would have loved for them to dive into that more, and maybe each episode focuses on one of the characters more than the others, in the way that they were using it as why each character would kill Jenny. Hell, I even would have preferred if at the end of season 6 they pull back the camera and Jenny's sitting there typing, or Jenny's sitting there saying Adele cut print, because it would have, it's a cheap way out, but at least then you can write off season 6 in your head. Honestly, I know that this is hard, but sometimes I think that they put more effort into that slow moving theme song on bongos drums sequence at the end, because I just do not know why they thought this was a good idea. And then I also think because it was the last season, that maybe clearer heads and stronger voices, Jennifer Beals, was a bit more okay, it's the last season, we're done with this show. They weren't going to have to come back and explain themselves and, you know, pick up from where the season ended. So I think it was more of a, okay, we're finished. If this is what you want to do, this is what you want to do. I also cannot believe that this season comes after season 5, which is the best season of the L Word, and probably, I know this is a really strong statement, but probably the season of television that has definitely had one of the biggest impacts on my life when it comes to television. I mean, the show alone, no matter how much I dislike season 3 and 6, the show has had the biggest impact on me a television show could have. I think that Generation Q could also learn something here. I think that, yes, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters on the original L Word, but I think that we, viewers of the original especially, would like to know more about Bette, Shane, Alice, and Tina, going back and seeing what has transpired over these past 11 years, because I know we've all probably given up hope of knowing anything prior to the start of the pilot and where these characters came from and how they became who they became, but I would definitely like more than the tiny bits of information that we got over the 8 episodes of season 1. I think it would be great if they did something like flashbacks, or even you know, they can do it in a clever way. They're clever people, like Bette talking to Angie, or Shane telling someone a story about her and Kiara. Like, you know, we know how Shane and Kiara met and all these things, but I want to know more. I want to know what happened to Tasha, Helena, all these people. That it doesn't take much, and the first episode did a really good job of kind of straddling that line between, okay, we're going to have new people watching the show who've never seen the L Word, and we're going to have die-hard fans who love the show and want to love Generation Q. And I think that they did a really good job with fan service, but not too much. Like, you didn't feel as though every single second it was like, see what we did there? Like callbacks where a new viewer is going to get totally lost. But we did have those great moments. Like, one of my favorite things in the whole season was when the first time that Bette, Shane, and Alice are on screen together and they're having breakfast, and Bette takes a phone call, and Alice and Shane are just, they're all of us really, and they're like, oh, Tina. It was brilliant, and I would love to see more little things like that scattered throughout the season, so that just, I don't know, I just personally like it. So I think that they can do it. They did it with episode 1, and they've got even more episodes this season. We know a little bit about the characters now, and it's only going to get better from here. I'm glad that we have the show back, and that the interrogation tapes were not the end of the L Word, but what a mess they created. If you guys have any questions at all about the interrogation tapes, the final season, anything even about when the original L Word aired, because it was a very different time and the show was looked at through a very different lens than it is now. Pop them down in the comment section down below, and I do answer all of the comments and questions, so just let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as I'm releasing a video every single day, December 1st through 25th, for the L Word Advent Calendar Christmas special. And also, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video, as it really, really helps out the channel. If you'd like even more L Word content, don't forget to follow me on any of my social medias. And also, I post a lot of information and pictures about season 2 of Generation Q over there. We got some cool pictures from the set yesterday, thanks to Sepideh, and not gonna lie, I was pretty excited last night, because when I tweeted out about my advent calendar video yesterday, and I tweeted the picture of Gigi and Danny, I was saying, oh yeah, my favourite character, Gigi, is back, and the first person to like the tweet was Sepida. So that made my day yesterday. So happy. She is awesome. I'm so glad she's back for season 2. I hope we see more of her. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any thoughts about other videos you'd like me to do, pop them down in the comments also, and make sure that you take care, look after yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye! If you haven't seen the huge season 2 casting news, Carrie is revealed, click this video. And if you haven't seen all the behind the scenes information on the L Word, click this video.